listening to Greg Marshall and Brian Summerfield.
Brian's off on sabbatical. I wish I could say that. He's off doing taxes. He'll be back. Gosh, what is today? He'll be back one day next week. Goodness gracious, that's going to be nice once he gets everything wrapped up and so forth. I know he's been just chomping at the bit to get back on the radio, so I'm looking forward to having him back. Talking with Trucker Randy right now and having a conversation about issues of the day and also his response to concerns, or how should we... I don't want to say that I want to be careful how I put it. It's actually hard to come up with a descriptive of how everything's kind of played out, Randy.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate that Senator Richardville had to respond the way he did, and that I had to consult with attorneys over this threatening letter. But I feel that, I have the truth as my defense. The good folks that are down in the Monroe area, eastern Jackson County, are willing to step forward. And I'll give you a perfect example. Charles Barger, B-A-R-G-E-R. He's an individual I spoke to on the phone this morning. And he shared with me his experiences with Senator Richardville and his mother, Glennon Kinnan, and what happened to him personally down there in Monroe. And, he's going to be willing to stand up and go public with what happened. And it's a situation that it's unfortunate that this type of situation is being forced, but people are seeing that by me standing up and speaking the truth, that they are now emboldened to stand up and do the same thing. And before they were scared, intimidated, Mr. Barger had a police complaint filed against him by Senator Richardville's mother, and alleging that Mr. Barger had threatened Senator Richardville's life. He was contacted by the police. He's a retired U.S. Army major. They told the police, Richardville's mother did, that this man had a closed head injury and was mentally not stable. It's not true in any way, shape, or form. The police contacted this man. He answered all their questions and wasn't even prosecuted. They found there was no basis for the complaint, and but yet he had to hire an attorney and go in front of the gun board in order to keep his CPL and improve his mental competency and his physical capabilities. Had to pay $2,000 out of his pocket to hire an attorney to defend himself against these allegations. And when I heard this story, it's like, it's just not right for an elected official to treat their constituents this way whenever they speak out against him and his policies. And, we're in a situation here recently, I don't know if you've seen it in the papers or not, but Senator Richardville co-sponsored Senate Bill 0992. People want to go to Michigan Votes and look that bill up. And it was a specific bill that was introduced, quickly ran through the House committee and voted on, ran through the Senate, voted on, and taken immediately to Governor Snyder. The entire process of that entire bill, Greg, was 48 days. And what it did was, it was a bill that had a retroactive provision in it that allowed for commercial loans on commercial real estate for real estate developers. That if they had personally guaranteed a commercial loan and that loan went bad and it was foreclosed on, in the event of a sheriff's sale, there was a mortgage deficiency, whereas the property sold at auction for less than what was owed on the mortgage, that personal guarantee would be wiped out, and that particular developer would not be responsible to pay that deficiency. Well, come to find out, the Cherryland Mall in Grand Traverse County, was owned by David Shostak, the brother of Bobby Shostak. And, this bill was introduced, co-sponsored by Senator Richardville, ran through the legislative process, signed by the governor, and basically appears to have benefited David Shostak to the tune of $2.4 million. I mean, people are upside down on their mortgages all over the state. Nobody else in the state is getting a law passed to help them out. Is that fair?
Well, according to reports, that's the case. I want to be careful on that one. It's certainly a lot of people have that appearance, but at the same point, yeah, it's tough to be able to stand up to a lot of these things. I mean, there's no argument there.
Well, and that's where I feel compelled that people need to know the truth, shine the light on what's going on and what these guys are doing, and feel that they need to be held accountable to explain their actions and why they did what they did. And, it's a situation where we elect these people. We feel that they are good citizens, willing to serve, to stand up. At least they can go and have integrity and morals and character in dealing with the issues at hand that benefit all of us, the whole state of Michigan, not just a few selected friends, donors, relatives. This has got to be a situation where all of Michigan benefits, not just a select few. And another example is, Senator Richardville introduced himself, sponsored it on his own, Freedom to Teach. And it was basically as a retaliation against the MEA for recalling Representative Paul Scott down in the Genesee County area, 51st District.
It does appear that way, although if you look at Paul Scott, his situation, it's I don't know if maybe this would have never come out otherwise. I don't know, but his personal situation was got very public down there, and it's tough to see conservatives voting for somebody in the situation he was in with this whole story about the unmarried child that came, or the not being married to the person when the child came along and so forth. I mean, that got very public. So I'm not saying anything that nobody already hasn't said a million times. So
what you're saying, Greg, is that Paul Scott's personal life impacted his political career?
Well, it certainly did.
So that same standard shouldn't apply to anybody else in elected office in Michigan?
Not saying it was a standard or not a standard. I'm just saying it affected at the ballot box. There's no argument there.
Well, he was elected by the people.
At least in my opinion.
Knowing that situation, but yet it wasn't until he was the chairman of the Education Committee who had done studies and took on the mission of teacher reform regarding tenure. And once they took up tenure and made a decision to go forward with a law that changed the tenure rules in our school district, particularly with the MEA, did Randy Richardville then introduce right to teach after they started the recall effort. Now, that appeared to many of us in the state of Michigan that was a pure retaliation act directed specifically to one group of labor people in the state of Michigan. Instead of doing it for all workers, private sector, government union workers, all of us, all over the state of Michigan, to give us that freedom and relief from union dues and being forced to basically be slaves to a union in order to have a job, he chose to target one specific group, the MEA teachers. Now, in my opinion, that's not right. He should not be using his legislative position as senator and Senate Majority Leader to introduce a specific bill of that nature where he was attacking one group of workers in this state.
So you're saying it should have, if you're going to apply right to work, it should apply for everybody then?
Absolutely. We're all citizens of the state of Michigan together. If he felt, according to his posting on his Senate page, he claimed that in this times of tough economy, that teachers needed every penny of their pay, that they should not have been forced to mandatorily have dues deducted out of their paychecks, that some of them don't necessarily agree with the political agenda of the MEA and therefore don't feel obligated to contribute. Well, if he felt that way for the teachers, why can he not then understand that truck drivers and factory workers and electricians and carpenters and all these other trades also feel the same way and would like to have the same choice that he was offering to teachers? So it's a situation where we are in a battle for what's supposed to be doing right for the people of Michigan, not just a select few of people that go to Lansing and feel that they can have an agenda, their political agenda, that they're going to ram through and not listen to us, the people of Michigan.
Powerful stuff. We've got calls coming in. Facebook comment as well from earlier I wanted to give you as well, and also get your thoughts on a few other issues as well. Trucker Randy is here. I'm Greg Marshall. Stand by. We'll continue. GregandBrianRadio.com is where you can find us in the stream if you haven't told your friends. Well, if you haven't, you wouldn't be listening now, but be sure to tell them GregandBrianRadio.com. Cool site. Check it out.